Well, it is week 4 of LCS with coverage brought to you by Alienware. It's the third day here. I'm joined by Bjergsen, fresh after their victory over TSM. Of course, this coverage is brought to you by Alienware. Bjergsen, right now you have 2 players from TSM standing behind you. Will that influence any of the answers that you give in this interview?
Well, these are just my 2 biggest fans, I think.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Glad
They're big fans.
They're big fans. Okay. Glad to hear. Okay. So, going into this game, did it feel any different than normal games, because it was obviously your former team and the first time you faced them?
It felt a bit different. It's definitely not a game that I wanted to lose. Yeah, I think the record hasn't been too hot recently.
What?
And I think that's an easy way to come in and kind of underestimate someone, or there's a lot of memes on Twitter about Reggie selling his house and his car and all that stuff. So I just didn't want us to come in with too much fun or underestimating them. I tried to make my teammates take it as seriously as possible because, of course, I wanted to win this game.
Are you surprised that the game went the way that it did? Obviously, they didn't have that great of a win record, but 28 games, pretty solid, or 28 minutes, pretty solid game. Did you think it would be more competitive?
I think they gave us our highest win rate champions in every single role from this year. I think we're 100% win rate on all of these champions.
Okay.
So that was an interesting decision in the draft department over at TSM.
Yes.
But I think when we locked in our 5 champions, I was like, okay, we're looking pretty comfortable this game.
You have another big fan of yours that has just joined.
This is crazy.
Go get Sword Art back.
Oh my God, where's Sword Art?
Back together. Sword Art, fight
Where's-
back.
First class.
Yeah. I think he's in Vegas right now.
Oh boy. Okay. So they're all back. By the way, did you see POE's Twitter beef the last weekend?
What was that?
He got it. Yeah, the Chrono break. He went on Twitter beef with some folks.
Yeah. With Vulcan? Yeah. That was a banger, yeah.
What did you think?
I didn't even see the game, so I don't even know what the chrono break was.
Do you? So you don't have an opinion on whether or not it was correct or not?
Because I don't even know what happened.
Okay.
I just know Mo killed him 2v1 afterwards, and he was like, let's fucking go! Yeah.
Well,
Good juice.
so it seems like so far you have just been crushing all of your former teammates. I think you did very well against Immortals.
Apart from Lawrence.
Oh yes. Okay.
Lawrence clapped me on Friday.
Yes, actually.
He took me out.
Very good point. So do you think that this proves that Lawrence was always the best player that you ever played with?
I think it just shows that everyone else was the problem, and Lawrence was... No, actually, I think Lawrence has been playing really well. Okay. And they played really well against us on Friday.
Gotcha. Okay. I will figure out a way. Hey, let me think of a creative way to do this. What do you think? I'll just ask you. What do you think of the state that TSM is in? Obviously, because this is historic.
It's messed up.
I had to ask this question. I thought you would be doing. We were supposed to do an interview. I was told.
That question?
I would ask. Yes, I'd ask you a nicer version of that question.
How's a nicer version?
The nicer.
And that I'm not here, I'm not gonna hear anything. You can.
The nicer version would be like, Spica, I know obviously you've had a lot of success with TSM. Unfortunately, this year it's not showing up that way. You know, what do you think is causing this? There are nice ways to ask this question. I would not. It's nice. Okay, anyway. So, obviously, tough situation that your former team is in. What has it been like for you, obviously, leaving the team, sort of seeing this stuff go down? What have you thought of it over the last couple of weeks?
It is interesting. I hope they miss me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some decisions that if I was still on the coaching staff, I probably wouldn't have made, like stylistically how they play the game, how they choose to draft, where I feel like they could be setting themselves up for success more. I mean, I think we won a lot of our games off the back of Huni and Spica and playing top side and giving them strong champions and to get leads in the game and carry, and that's just not how I've seen TSM draft at all. I mean, they played a lot of the smite top where Huni is not even laning and they're just feeding all their resources into bot lane and speak on a lot of supportive champs. So I think they need to figure out kind of their style or their best way to win, and I don't think that's what they're doing right now.
Gotcha. Do you think they're taking notes back there while they're listening to the ways that you would be handling things?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them some free tips. I think they need it right now.
Very nice. Okay. Okay, so obviously that's kind of the way things have been going for TSM. Azale said during the cast, this feels like one of those moments where you challenge your friend to like a game or like a whatever, and then it stops being kind of fun because you start kind of beating up on them too much. Did you feel that at all in the game at all? Were you like, this is too stompy, or were you just down to like make it as stompy as possible?
I mean, the faster the better. I think. I mean, the game never feels truly in the bag until you end the game. So I didn't want to take it lightly just because we're ahead in the game. But yeah, I think once Hansama has a lead, like he's never going to drop it, and he's just going to kill the enemy nexus. So when Hans has a lead, I feel very comfortable that the game is going to be a win.
All right. Well, let's step us away from the TSM topic so these guys get some relief. Golden Guardians.
I'm on TL now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, but you just played for the first time ever.
LS next, or
Yes. Actually, do you have an opinion on that? As a former coach yourself, what do you think of the most recent coaching change on C9? No, I have to ask about TSM. You just beat them, and they're behind you. Golden Guardians, though, I'll ask about them if you would like. So Golden Guardians, what happened there? Because you guys have been so strong, and then these guys over. Yeah, we can get a shot of them. I don't know if we can pivot.
Team's Liquid, right?
Yes. How you play these teams? Your team is only as relevant as it is in comparison to these other orgs.
Oh, okay. Yes. Got it. So talk to me about.
You can only exist in relation to these other orgs. Okay. Golden Guardians. What allowed Golden Guardians to take you guys down?
I think we came in with a draft that had kind of a one-sided win condition, which is kind of getting a lead and snowballing through bot, and they just executed better on kind of their mid jungle and bot lane. So I think we picked a bit of a riskier draft, and they honestly just played better than us. But they've somehow we've scrimmed a lot and seen them play on stage, and actually I think they're a really solid team. I think I don't really follow the placements too much, but I feel like they are definitely like a top 3, top 4 team. I think they struggle closing out games, but they have a pretty defined style of how they play the game. Around Price Soccer, Blaze Olive has just been a really consistent player for that team. I feel like he's always performing well. And Ole and Lost have been blowing a lot of games open early through their 2v2. So, yeah, I think they're definitely a team to look out for.
Okay. Team Liquid is the team you play for. Thank you so much for the interview. Okay, so Team Liquid. Obviously, this weekend you guys are back to Ayla. What has it been like? Is it jarring at all where you have Ayla, then you have Core, then you have Ayla? There's been a lot of switching back and forth. Obviously, I think a lot of people had hoped that Core would be able to stick around. Don't need to pry into what happened or if there's any reason major why he's not here this weekend. But what has it been like, obviously, switching in and out of these support situations?
It requires some adaptation, obviously. Not that Ayla doesn't have good communication or anything like that, but Core just brings another level of confidence and communication and leadership in the game that gives everyone else the opportunity to kind of calm down and focus on themselves, because he will make it clear what we're doing, what we need to do, where we're going to be fighting, how we're going to get vision. Playing with Core kind of feels like a cheat code, unlike anything else I've had in my career. So of course there's some adaptation where we played with Core all of last week, and he kind of took a lot of the reins around the communication and leadership in the game, and then we had to go back to Ayla, and it's a little bit more we talk as all 5 players about what we want to do, where we want to control, and these kinds of things in mid game. So, but I think it's still good for all of us, because of course even when Core is playing, we don't want him to be the only one to communicate. If you want to make the best calls, not that he was, but if you want to make the best calls, everyone needs to see the game a similar way and chip into those calls and be able to change calls in the moment. So I think Core will be back soon, but I think obviously Ayla stepped in and performed really well this weekend.
So at the start of lock-in and also even the start of the split, there was a sense that there was a lot more competition between all the top teams. You had people who were saying like, oh, EG's up there, 100T's up there, etc. Now it feels like when I talk to people, they feel as though it's like Team Liquid. Maybe sometimes they'll throw another team in the mix up at the top, but oftentimes they just feel like it's you guys, especially with just Core. And then there's kind of like second, third, fourth, and then kind of everybody else. So I don't know if you feel like it's that way, or it's just Team Liquid's like cut above everybody, or if you feel like there's anybody who are pretty big rivals with you right now.
Rivals, probably not.
Competitive, maybe.
I mean, I think there are teams that are competitive and that can take games off of us. I mean, GG took a game off of us. I think anyone can. I don't think we're at the level where, we're just going to crush everyone, like, no problem. We still lose a lot of scrims. We still have a lot of things to learn. I think we have a long way to go as a team if we want to win the championship and do well internationally. But I'm not really too focused on the teams that we're playing against. I don't really watch all their games. I'm mostly focused on ourselves and what we can learn and how we can still get better. I think different teams have different strengths. I think some teams are more telegraphed than others in how they play the game, whereas I think our team has a lot of flexibility in that everyone can carry. There's games where Hansama is popping off. There's games where Brupo is popping off. Hasn't really been a lot of games where Bjergsen's popping off just yet, but I hope those are coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
But it's hard when my top and bot lane are just crushing.
Yeah.
It's just that then we just play to facilitate them because they're going to carry the game. Which is
You're just popping people back up with Zillion, right? So.
Yeah, I am supporting Hansama in his ability to carry the games, but in so many games, my teammates are just crushing their lanes before like level 5, and then we'll just kind of set them up to carry. But I think that's what makes our team a little bit more scary than everyone else, is that we play a lot of champions, and every lane can carry the game.
Just one quick question about the TSM stuff once more. Their ADC, I think before the start of the game, tweeted something where it was a bunch of lines or underscores, and then it was greater than in a bunch. And I think if you spelled it out, it was tactical greater than Hansama. I think that's what it was. Did you see that tweet, and do you have any opinions on it?
I think he might have a hard time like spelling.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
Or maybe he meant to do the greater than the other way around.
Yes, I see.
But Edward's a good kid,
Yes.
but Hansama is kind of good.
Gotcha.
Hansama is kind of good.
And then do you have any opinions about a Blaze Olive?
Yeah, I mean, Blaze Olive got to be play below me, so it's no wonder he's doing so well.
I see. Okay.
Really getting man, I already talked about the Blaze Olive, and now you're just making me talk about him
because
again
they're showing
in
up.
front of him.
If we could get a shot of them, that would be great. It's going to be very blurry, I know, because we got a rack focus or whatever. As everybody's coming around to watch the Bjergsen interview here. Okay, you're the big star of the show. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Thank you guys for supporting us. I hope that there will be some games where I'm crushing mid a little bit more. I feel like my teammates are playing so well that I haven't really been able to show off my own dominance in the game, but I think I'm definitely improving, and I want to show that in the LCS soon.
Do you think Spica will get personally fined when he doesn't do this interview afterwards, or is it just on the team? I'm just kidding. Thank you so much, Bjergsen, for the interview. He's not even paying attention. Thank you for the interview, Bjergsen. For everybody else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things right here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching that interview. I am back at the studio, which is so good. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I feel like the interviews are better, and I couldn't be here if it wasn't for sponsors like Alienware, who help make sure that I can have a wonderful person to be behind the cameras. We're doing 4K video again, which is something we started back in 2019. We're happy to be able to bring back using Alienware hardware. So if you are appreciating this new content, which is also old content because it's just old content that's made new again. Anyway, if you appreciate it, check out the link in the description for me, alienware.com/Travis. Use the code, get something cool.